What, you guys don't want to do the Christian smash hit God's Not Dead 5?
This is Movie Night with the Boys. Hi, welcome to Movie Night with the Boys. I'm John,
And I'm Zach.
and tonight we have a very special guest, a very good friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine, Stephen Webb, who is the author of our theme song.
Hi.
He is a metal guitar player. He's a very longtime friend of mine. And he's here to join us for the movie Metal Lords. Give us a little bit of info on it, Zach.
Metal Lords 2022, directed by Peter Sollett, and that stars Jaden Martell as Kevin and he all I know him from is It, right? He's the kid with the stutter.
Mm-hmm.
Next up we have Iris Haynesworth, new actress, and Aiden Greensmith, and he plays Hunter, and Iris plays Emily. And they're both new actors, never been in anything else.
Now, really quickly, Zach, before you jump into the synopsis, I want to bring up here the music in this movie. It was done by Ramin Djawadi, who is known for Game of Thrones, Uncharted, The Eternals, Iron Man. The man is a genius, an extraordinarily good composer. And it was co-executive musically produced by Tom Morello, the main guitarist from Rage Against the Machine and Audioslave, and a legend.
So the synopsis. For teenage misfits, Hunter and Kevin, the path to glory is clear. Devote themselves to metal, win Battle of the Bands, and be worshipped like gods. So, I guess that brings us to story time.
Metal Lords. The movie opens up to Hunter and Kevin jamming. Kevin clearly can't play the drums.
He sucks.
He is, but he owns it right away. He's like, listen, I don't play the drums, I play the drum, which is then brought to the scene where he's stomping around his marching band doing the tickety ticketies, and he sucks, but he wants to do better for Hunter because Hunter wants to be a metal band. So that's the goal. Oh yeah, in that marching band scene, you also get to meet Emily, who has a complete meltdown and basically attacks the teacher because she was told that she's doing wrong.
She chases his ass right off the field. Fuck you, fucker, fuck shit, fuck, fuck. And I
I
was like,
wonder if she's
okay,
got
okay.
Tourette's. she's fantastic.
Yeah, it was good.
We've all wanted to do that, and she was just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do that."
She is
Right?
everybody's dream come true.
It's like I had a bad
Please,
day, and
thank
this
you.
was the straw that broke the camel's back, and you're gonna get all of my 24-hour pent-up aggression right at 1 second.
Absolutely.
Kudos to you for doing this.
So next we get a scene where Kevin gets the standard bully treatment by Skip. Skip is the piece of shit that treats him like shit the entire movie. And Hunter tries to warn him by like giving him the eyeballs, saying "move," and he gets pushed into the locker. Standard bully shit.
I don't know, like that to me looked like he just kind of walked, like just like didn't even see the kid. He just was walked right through him. Like it didn't seem like it was purposefully. Like he literally just didn't see the kid. It just walked right through him.
Just boom. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Overacting.
Yeah.
So after that, the popular kid Clay invites Skip and the rest of the school to a house party because his parents are off in Geneva or something. So we get a scene at lunch. No one wants to sit with Emily because obviously they've heard she's a psychopath. And Kevin's mom can't afford the $1,000 drum kit or the $150 drum set. And Hunter's like, well, what the fuck? So then we get to the house party. Kevin and Hunter are talking. where the fuck? I lost my spot. Oh, so Kevin and Hunter are talking, and Kevin is drinking aggressively.
Yeah, he was going real hard in that scene.
He was going wild, and let me just preface this by saying I would have expected that from Hunter based on the appearance of things.
It seemed like it, but he's devoted to metal, bro.
Like
Like metal is his life.
I know the feeling quite
the
well.
blood,
That is a
blood,
real thing.
that is motor oil in that man's veins because of the metal. The metal. He gets very shit faced and starts. He says he's gonna go to the bathroom. And the bullies find Hunter and they start tossing him around, and they end up tossing him into the band that's playing. Molly coddles the band. It happens to be Clay, who's the owner, well, the house party guy, the host. It's his house. He gets thrown into the band stuff. And right before, sorry, I missed it. I totally missed the spot. I got to go back for a second.
I was
Okay.
just gonna say he was about to get some ass, and then his friend got beat
Yes,
up.
he totally was. He was ripping it too for as drunk as he was.
Just spitting pure game, completely blacked
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Like a professional 15-year-old. So after he gets tossed into the equipment, Kevin helps him up. Dude's like being really nice to him, and Hunter's just talking shit like, you suck, you everything about you sucks, you all suck. And then he's like, well, if you think you're so good, you should try the Battle of the Bands. And Hunter gets pissed because he had no clue there was a Battle of the Bands going on. So he, in the next scene, goes straight to, what is it, like, just the person in charge of it. I don't know what she does in school. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? And she was like, well, no one knew you had a band. He gets them signed up for the Battle of the Band, and then he tells Kevin about Kiloton, the 1996 winner of the Battle of the Bands, and how he thinks they broke up because of drinking. And it's like staring daggers into Kevin.
I want to point out something here. When he signed up for the Battle of the Bands, there was only one other band on the list.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that. that tracks. That tracks.
Well, think about it. We do only see two bands, so like.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And they got
You do get
second
that
place.
you do get that like transitional shot of like a band going off stage before the other one goes on. So it's like it gave like the illusion like, oh, there was a whole bunch of bands here, but like if you go back to the beginning
There
of the
was
movie, there's
three.
only two bands, like 2-3 bands, yeah.
The two that played well mattered, so that's all we got to see.
Story of my life.
The first
Hey,
band
what?
didn't play that well, though.
You play enough Battle of the Bands, you figure it out. I think we did. I think we did like a dozen, or like 15.
Oh
And
yeah,
they're all a shit show.
they were fun. They were fun.
No, they're fun shows, but it's just all you go into it like we're gonna win, and it's you don't even place, and it's like, oh well,
Bad memories.
now we can just go drink in the van, I guess.
Yeah,
Good
nobody
memories.
from my high school like had like bands or anything. It was after high school everybody started getting into music, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, so we never really had much of that.
We had like
Unfortunately.
one band in our high school, and then there's a neighboring high school next to Brockton High. It's called Southeastern, and there was a band that I ended up joining called Tormented Reality from there. But like that was kind of it, like
That's
in
a
our like the
throwback for
Brockton local
us.
scene. Yeah, there was Tormented Reality, Executions, and then like maybe like two other like regular bands. But in regards of like this kind of genre, like the metal subgenre, there was only like a few of us. So
Okay.
it
There
was
was
really fun to see 'em
approximately 0 post-doom death metal bands in.
with corpse paint. dude, like this movie was great. I really enjoyed it. It spoke a lot to me. I was like, yes, I know what you're feeling. No one likes metal. No one wants to play metal. It's a very niche genre.
So in the next scene, we get Hunter having used his dad's credit card. What a ballsy fucking move. To buy Kevin this ridiculous drum set that cost something. He said like $10,000. I was like,
$13,000.
what?
It's a
My father would
$13,000.
kill me. He would kill
As a
me.
former Guitar Center employee, if I watch two young kids just walk in with like an Amex like unlimited card and just like, yep, we're taking that, please, like that would raise some questions. Like some phone calls would need to be made. Like some
would
people
hope.
needed like you needed to talk to some people. but there's always
Yeah.
people. But it's a commission-based job, so you probably
I
got
was
that one
just gonna
salesman.
say, yeah.
You get that one
Right?
salesman just like, this is my
Weekend's
chance to
been
break
me.
it.
Eyes
Hooray.
turn to money symbols. Cha-ching!
That
That
has
would
His
happened.
wife,
That'd be
baby, we
me.
can eat this week.
Tell the kids no more sugar packets and ketchup. We're on Big Street now.
McDonald's, here we come.
I sold that drum set to that 15-year-old kid.
Okay. So he can't use the drum set at home, so he has to bring it to the school. And then he ends up going to see Emily play the cello, which I guess he heard her down the hall, and finds out that it's her preferred instrument, and that both share the desire to not be in physical education, so they do marching band instead. He gives her Hunter's sheet music for Machinery of Torment, Machine of Torment, whatever the name of the song was, and she rips it, like rips it. I was super impressed by that. Just that, what, like 10 seconds of cello time. She was pretty extraordinary right there.
Sight reading. When you see sight reading in real life, it's very impressive. Like people just like, yeah, I could play that, and then they just go. It's
Well,
insane.
see, I was more surprised at the fact that Hunter could actually write music.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Committed to the cause, man. He's committed to the cause.
that's what I mean. That's why he's not drinking, you know? Which is kind of weird because you would think drinking is pretty metal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like one of the heaviest bands I've ever seen in my life is a band called Between the Buried and Me, and they are all like vegan straight edge.
Oh, wow.
But then there's also bands that I've seen, like The Used. Like I've seen Burt McCracken inhale an entire bottle of Jack Daniels, throw it up, and play an entire set. Like it's all over the place. Like metal.
Yeah,
God.
Drinking is metal only in a certain context.
that's fair. That's fair.
Metal is question mark exclamation point.
It's
It
the
was called
noise.
Machinery of Torment.
That's
Machinery
what
of
it was.
Torment.
Okay.
Yep.
I knew I was right. So Kevin and Hunter are looking for a bass player, and this scene touched me. They end up playing D&D at Hunter's house with this random group of dudes, one of which is like a bass player, and I don't know why. I think it was just because he was pissed at his dad, but Hunter just starts attacking one of the teammates who was also the bass player that they're trying to talk to, and Kevin's like, dude, what the fuck? And his dad's such a weird piece of shit.
See, this is where I connected with Hunter. I was like, yeah, that would kind of be like me. Like, if I don't catch your vibe like right off the bat, like you're excommunicated. Like,
Mhm.
I'm
When
done.
he excommunicated him,
Yeah.
that natural 20 ended his days.
He cut his dick off.
And he just
Sawed that shit off.
It was so fucked. That was such a funny scene, man.
I play a lot of Magic the Gathering, and we call those just like the fuck you move. It's like you can have everything set up, and this guy's like, "No, I've been waiting since turn one." Boom, 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 and just proceeds to end your life in front of your friends.
Embarrass these. So next, the boys are driving, and Hunter spots Skip the bully and the other group of bullies just parked somewhere on an alley or something. And he stops, and he's like, "Switch seats with me." He runs over to him, he like calls him a cunt or something, and he fucking boops his chin. And
he flicks him in the lips, like literally, like lip and nose. Like it was
like here's the finger.
Yeah,
and then,
the middle finger flicked it right into his face. Yeah.
And he's like, "Fucking run, fuck," and he runs off. Drive, the funniest shit. Like the typical teenager shit. That was so great. They're gunning down the road in that expensive ass car, and then they're coming upon this really narrow alley. And Hunter's like, "Fucking do it! I know this car." Straight through the alley, no problem. Skip's like, fucking straight into the wall like a dumbass.
Oh my god, he
Ruins
was like,
that truck.
I don't know what that kid was thinking. He stopped, and then he's like, "No, I could fit, and
He was
just
thinking Big Dick syndrome. That's what he was thinking.
I'm in a dually double wide. We got this.
right.
You don't got this, bro.
Yeah, like the Mustang, like barely fit through, and you think your big ass truck is
I
like.
thought the mirrors were coming off. That's
Yeah.
why I thought they close up on the mirror.
But I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when he flicked him in the face, he did this like little pussy, like, oh.
Yeah, it's like,
How dare you?
It was pretty funny.
oh.
It would have been almost a little bit better if he walked up to him, pulled a glove out of nowhere, and was just like, "Flap," and then walked
Right?
away. So next we get a scene with Kevin and Hunter. Hunter's giving Kevin this list of bands and songs to learn to play. And he makes a copy of the list and gives the list to Emily. Then we get this fantastic montage of him going from being like this basic ass snare drum drummer to this boss ass metal drummer playing Ozzy Osbourne and Sabbath songs. And she's just watching music video after music video and learning metal and getting a depth for it the only way you really can.
And she kept checking up on him too.
Yeah, but it was like she wanted to go in, but she was like, not yet. Not yet. I'm going to let him get to where I think he wants to be, and then I'm going to go and be like, let's do this. And they fucking killed when they jammed together, man. They killed when they jammed together.
Some dude, that was like the coolest rendition of War Pigs, like with the cello and the drums.
I'm
Oh,
gonna.
yeah.
And then she's
Like, I
doing-
love
she's
when it's
doing-
like violins and stuff. Like I
Mhm.
love
Yeah.
those, like metal violins.
Reminded me of that band Apocalyptica.
Oh, yes. Have you heard any of the? I mean, I know you have, Steve. Zach, have you heard any of the stuff with Metallica and the symphony?
No, I can't say that I have.
Oh, it's majestic.
Oh my god, it is incredible.
It's
incredible.
incredible.
Okay. See, I listen to more Japanese speed metal.
Yes.
Dragon Force. Dragon Force counts.
Well, not I mean like actual Japanese bands. So I have no idea what the hell they're saying. But
like baby metal.
I love how like when you see Kevin just writing down the list of songs, like he just keeps it keeps focusing in on one. It just says New Millennium Cyanide. That's actually a song by Meshuggah called New Millennium Cyanide Christ, and it's incredible. Meshuggah gets referenced a lot. I love the references that they pulled out in this movie, like all over the place. They had Metallica and like Sabbath as like background music too. It's like, like I felt like a little 15-year-old kid again.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I grew up on. This is incredible.
It starts some memories, man, for sure. So next we get a scene where Hunter's in class and the bullies fake a principal's note to get him out of class, and they slap some duct tape on his face, and homeboy Skip comes over to him and cuts off the side of his hair. Like, that's a girl thing, bro.
I know. I thought that was pretty weak, but at least they punched him in the stomach. Like,
Right?
at least they did.
And they left him there and ran off like a bunch of bitches.
Yeah. These are the worst bullies. Like these, they suck. Like not even in like they suck because they're bullies. Like they're shitty bullies. Like they're not
really
even
bad
bullies.
Like 2 out of 10 would not recommend bullies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, Hunter shaves the side of his head, Skrillex style. And the bullies got 2 weeks suspension. I don't know why anyone got 2 weeks for that. Around our parts, that was like a day.
What do you mean? You would have just got sent home. Come back the next day.
Yeah, probably. After that, Hunter is like, I look like Jason Newsted from Metallica. Or is it James? James?
He said Jason Newsted. Yeah.
It is Jason Newsted. He goes, I'm like Jason Newsted from Metallica. And Kevin's like, the one that got fired? And then,
glorious reference.
Yeah. They're walking up the stairs. More like a Viking than Newsted. And Kevin's like, oh, you mean like the mascot? No, nothing like the mascot. Nothing could be farther on Earth than from like the mascot. My head looks more like a baby's dick than the mascot. And then he was talking about how like if a baby's dick grew a baby's dick, that would it was just. And then his dad's right there, and he's like, "What did I do to deserve this?" And he's just like, "Host, I'm out." Most fucked up scene in the world. The next scene, we're back at the school, and the guys are hoping to get a bass player to come and try out, and they put up a little thing, says if you want to try out for bass, this is where you can find us. They're there for, I would have to assume, hours, because they fall asleep on the floor waiting, and then some dude finally shows up, and he's like the Angus Young of bass players, because he is the most animated fucking bass player I have ever seen exist ever.
I don't even like he couldn't really play.
I think that was the joke, is like a lot of people are focused on like the looks than the actual music.
Yeah,
it's like I'm here I'm here to play bass for you. And then he just like is just this most animated. He's just like running into Hunter and stuff like that. And he's like kicking the chair like 14 times. And it's just like, but it like his notes aren't being played.
Yeah. Yeah, like they'll hear boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what the fuck is
He was
going
just
on
slapping
here?
strings. He thought he was the dude from Korn.
Slapping the bass.
Slapping a bass, slapping a bass.
So what's funny is like Hunter keeps looking at him, like he keeps like looking down at his guitar, and he like looks back at this like random bass player, and because that like in From Whom the Bell Tolls is played on bass, so
Yeah.
he's like looking at him like, hey man, like this is you, and the kid's just like, nah man, feel the music, don't know the music. And then he got like mad weird. He just like kind of like crept up on him.
Yeah, and he's like,
He was
well,
like
Where do we
we'll
learn
work
the
on
music?
stage present after.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So after that, Hunter suggests they just stay a two-piece, and he has Kevin listen to some ridiculous, I don't even know if it was real, screamy metal that was like, I don't know, what would you call that as a professional?
So is that the scene where like they're really
He has
trying to?
in the earbud.
Oh yeah, so that's like black metal. That's
Okay.
like that's that like underground like subterranean black metal. That's that like underground shit that like is questionable. It's like it's the audible manifestation of crystal meth.
That's a fantastic description for it. We won't
That's what
question whether as to that is from personal experience or not.
Not even remotely. But no, it's like like I respect a lot of those bands like Dimmu Borgir's black metal, you know, Immortal, like Emperor, like all like those are like the classics, but like some of the underground shit is so. Do you know? Fun fact is like there are like I think the number is like 30 black metal bands a year that get lost in the wilderness in Norway, taking like taking band promo pictures.
Oh, wow.
Like Hunter puts the face paint on, like all those kind of bands. Like they just
Yeah.
Like
they like
Kiss and
the
Demi
church.
Borgir had a kid.
Yeah, like the church Bernie kind of metal. Like that goes a little too far.
So they find Hunter's car completely fucked up, and they shit on it. They fucking shit on his car
And
It's a
spray
low
painted it.
blow.
and spray painted him. Called it I think they called him a cunt on it, didn't they?
They
Slashed the
certainly
tire.
did.
Yeah,
Yep, tire
Slashed the
slash. They
tires.
looks like they kicked the window in and stuff.
no
Yeah.
holds barred.
Yeah, they fucked that car up.
That poor beautiful car.
I was gonna say that's a nice car.
It was a nice car. So Kevin doesn't want to be a two-piece scream metal band, and he tries to bring Emily in, but Hunter's like, no. She doesn't apparently look the part in his mind. He says having a cello player instead of a bass player would be completely gay. And then you get Grinder by Judas Priest, and then an up-close picture of Rob Halford's throbby bulgy balls in
No, it was
tight
Goblin Cock.
whites. No, that was the
Oh.
second picture.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because the second picture was this poster of Goblin Cock with this mammoth hog with a septum piercing. I only call it a septum piercing because you can't call that a Prince Albert. That was more like a Prince Zeus.
That was a full on like
That was
Minotaur
like
nose
that
ring
was
on that thing.
a hog.
Like that's the thing that chases you through the labyrinth if you get lost.
Yeah.
In Bowie's fantasy world.
No, it just looked like a minotaur.
Dickatar. It's a dickatar. That's what it is.
The Dickatar. Yeah.
Half man, half bull, half dick.
Three half. What's going on here? Fucking got a dick sideways off of it.
A chimera, if you will.
Kevin also points out that the band's name is Skullfucker, and that they would probably die virgins in the band name Skullfucker. He didn't remember for some reason that Emily was standing right there, and got wicked embarrassed. You could tell. So for some reason later on, he calls her and is like, "Oh, sorry about that whole thing," and she must have taken the apology out of context because she was like, "It's okay, I am too." And then it devolves into, "Hey, do you not want to be anymore?" Like,
That was
so
a
they
very
just,
odd conversation.
yeah. I don't know if I've ever heard of teenagers saying, "Hey, do you want to not be virgins anymore?" Shaggin' wagon in a Jewish temple parking lot.
Memories.
in the back of what a flower van.
Like a flower delivery
yeah.
van. Yeah.
It was like Night at the Roxbury style.
But
It's just
he busted in his mom's room and he's like, "Mom, I need the keys."
I need the car.
I need
He's
the
like,
car.
"Okay,
right
okay,
now.
yeah, you can have it in a little." She's like, "No, I need them right now. I'm getting these buns. Like, give me the keys."
Don't forget thingies for your thingy.
It's like, can you get the thingy for
I need
your
the
thingy?
And then her opening innuendo was pop a button on her shirt. Let's go. Like awkward teenage shit for real.
I was gonna say it plays off of the whole montage of the movie that it's like an awkward like teenage like coming of age movie. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
So as a result to catching those buns, he is officially late to practice. And I don't know, it seemed kind of like Hunter picked up on it. And he was like, you know what?
2 hours late.
Was it 2?
What kind of kid for your first time is going for 2 hours?
A professional, sir. A professional.
Professional amateur.
He should have been like maybe 15 minutes late.
Well,
Give him
you know
that.
what it was. It was in fact his first time because when he went to go get thingies, he got those thingies that are like thicker than thick, so he couldn't feel it the whole time.
Oh, you know what though? He probably fell asleep too.
Brutal.
Right?
It's like, I just woke up, his glasses are all sideways. Sorry, man. Sorry, I'm late. Just I fell asleep.
Generally, a respectful reason to be late is by getting laid.
Yeah.
But if you are 2 hours, there must have been a point to be like, "Hey, I have somewhere to be. Can we wrap this up?"
Right?
I don't think he was thinking about that in the.
No, I mean if it's if it's your first time, obviously, you know, it's like
It's
I'll be
still
here all night.
amazing, and most of it was just kissing.
Well, it's like they're still teenagers.
Yeah.
It was probably an hour and 45 minutes, hour 50 minutes of kissing.
Yeah.
You know?
30 seconds of Pound Town and 4.5 minutes of driving, thinking, "Oh my god, I got to
That
do
was
so much
amazing.
better next time." It was so good, but I got to do better. And
2 hours, hour and 50 minutes of prep, 10 minutes of regret.
What happened in between? Nothing.
For
There was
her.
never anything else to happen. So he goes. Hunter goes off on to Kevin about commitment and taking metal seriously. And Kevin's like, you know what? You're not gonna talk down to me like this, and he just dips. And Hunter can't get his solo right. He just can't get it. And I had no idea why. I couldn't figure it out. Did you have any ideas, Zach? I had no idea.
Are you talking about the pick?
Yeah. I couldn't tell
No,
it was the pick until.
No.
What about you, professional?
Professional. I think it was a combination. I think it was like a really clever ploy for like a directive kind of like aspect. It's like, oh, I can't nail this. I've been hitting this like perfect all day. Why can't I nail this? And it's like it's supposed to let the viewer kind of think like, oh, you know, Hunter's going through it, man. Like he's about to lose his drummer. But then you figure out it's just the pick. I think it's like a
pick of destiny.
He needs the pick of destiny. He needs it.
Right.
But it's one of those things. It's like, oh, make you feel bad about Hunter. It's like, oh yeah, he's having some teenage angst right now. And it's like, nope, he just has the wrong fucking pick.
But like, is that though like kind of like true in some senses? Like, does the thickness of the pick make a difference?
Oh, for sure. And you know what's funny is like that and like string gauge size, like the size of the strings for what tuning you're using for your guitar. Those are like the two biggest like unanswered questions on the internet, and it's insane because it's all very subjective. So it's like, okay, I play this style of metal in this tuning. It's like this works for me, but it's not going to work for you because you're not me. But like regular metalheads can't figure that shit out. They're like, no, like James Hetfield from Metallica uses the green Dunlop 88mm picks, and I need to use them in order to obtain greatness. And then they get these picks are like $5 at the store, and then they're like, why does this not work? It's like, because you're not fucking James Hetfield, dude.
Okay.
That's why you're fucking Johnny guitar player. You're not James Hetfield.
Yeah.
You can look up to him. You're just not him. But yeah, no, the thickness of the pick. If you're trying to like shred like that and you're using like a thick boy, it generally speaking, like from what Hunter's playing, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Oh,
Although I think the issue that they said in this one though is his pick was too thin.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, it was too thin. The guy was like, "You're not going to get any kind of articulation with that fucking thing."
Yeah. Good
we'll
old
get to
Joe
that point though.
Manganiello.
We'll
Yeah.
get to that.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up. Sorry, I'm jumping the
Yeah,
gun
yeah,
there.
yeah.
No, I that was all me. That was all me.
No, I kind of asked the question too because I was curious. So Kevin's jamming at the school when homeboy Clay finds him and is like, "Hey, you're really good. Can I show you something really quick?" And he has him listen to his songs, and Kevin's like, "This shit's easy."
No, he was like, does the beat change at all? But
Yeah.
like
Ever?
but like aren't they like they're not playing original songs, right? Like
No, they're clearly
they're
not.
you know
No,
what I mean?
they're a cover band. Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm like,
Ironically, isn't "Shape of You" an Ed Sheeran song?
100% is my celebrity body double.
A lot of people have thought and suggested this man looks like Ed Sheeran.
Especially
And
working at a guitar store. So my hair used to be like really long, and I
he
used to
did.
have
He
like the
had the
swoop.
long shag.
I
It
used to
was
have like the swoop.
fantastic. Clay asks Kevin if he can fill in for his sister's wedding because their drummer has been sent off to a place for people who have problems. And he says maybe he'll think about it. And he also says same thing for the Battle of the Bands. Maybe he'll think about it. Then we get a quick scene of Emily saying she doesn't need meds anymore because Kevin is her happy pill.
I thought
Which
that was
is
kind of cute.
It was cute. I really digged her her personality. I guess you could say the way that she
Mhm.
was like clearly problematic, and she did a good job with it. I think.
I mean, I got a thing for, like a British, Scottish, Irish accent.
Oh, she
So
was killing me.
that always gets me.
She was killing me. I
And I'm
remember
pretty sure she had a Scottish flag in front of her house. So
Mhm.
or something. Hold on,
no, it
Skylar.
was blue with a white X.
That is as a representative from the country of Scotland, he is correct.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Kevin and Hunter are driving, and they're bickering about Kevin filling in on the other band, saying you can only be in one band. And Hunter keeps saying no Yokos. That one's a music nightmare for people, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of people are under the
It's
belief of no Yokos.
Yoko Ono?
Yes,
yeah, because
total
there's
call it.
the story of how like like everyone claims that Yoko Ono is completely responsible for the Beatles disbanding,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
which is
I want
true.
I want to point out though too, the little kid in the car, he's
Brother.
legitimately the whole time just sitting there making his car and his action figure hump. And he just banging them together
Meanwhile,
the whole time.
You
he
said
keeps saying
fuck.
stop saying fuck.
Yeah. It's like no fuck. No fuck. And like this kid's like, shut up. That was a pretty good scene.
Yeah, it's good
That's good.
stuff.
You said fuck.
He's like the younger brother from South Park. Cake the
Oh,
baby.
Oh
Ike.
yeah. The
Baby Ike.
Canadian?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Canadian
Canadian,
baby.
the adopted brother. So next we get a scene with Hunter doing a presentation in I think it's like English class or literature class or something like that because he
Mhm.
comes in and he starts riffing metal licks and saying lines from I think a book, and it devolves into him basically saying Emily is going to ruin Kevin's life.
Yeah, he
And
was like super poetic, just like using like 80s 90s like shred metal filler. It was kind of cool, but then like the end he just went crazy.
yeah, so
Yeah.
did she. So
Yeah.
the fuck
Oh yeah.
did she.
I did enjoy that.
She went right after him too. It
I
was
love how you know what's another good thing though that the attention to detail in this movie. Um, you know how like when she flips out and she throws like the whole chair at him. He has that bruise on his head the entire rest of the movie.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. It
Yeah.
Like
never
they didn't
goes
just like
away.
they didn't just like write that off like, oh yeah, that was that one scene. You remember, right? And then
Wasn't
it's
it
just
even
like
showing through the paint?
yeah, and then it like became a bruise. Like they like gave it gave the perception of like time has passed because it's like it was super red and bulgous and then or bulging and then like all of a sudden there's like a purple like when he's like sitting there it's like a little purple splotch. I'm like, all right, well that's kind of cool. You guys didn't. So it almost made me think like, did this kid actually get hurt on set? And they were just like, no, write it in, keep filming, just keep going.
Yeah, that's possible. Maybe she really did fucking crush his skull in with the chair.
Shit, did you hit him in the face? It's problematic. I'll write that into the movie.
No, you can't see it when he's got the face paint on.
Oh, I thought you
Oh,
could.
that's true. Yeah.
So Kevin confronts Hunter and throws him into a locker and tell him he's basically better off without him, and then he just walks off. Hunter's like flabbergasted by it. He's like, "Wait a minute, what? You know?" Um, so then we get a little romance scene between Emily and Kevin. It was cute. Oh, okay. So then we get Hunter in the gym, and he's hanging with this kid Robbie, who's got Down syndrome, I think. I assume it looks like he's got Down syndrome. I could be wrong, and I'm sorry if I am. But he says, "You know what? We're good dudes. We're not going to take shit from anybody anymore. You and me against the world." Um, and then he goes to his house and starts doing his makeup. And he's got the white face paint and he's doing all the black lines and he is using a YouTube video to do it.
Which is pretty funny because it's all like hardcore. He's putting on the spikes, right?
And then the music
and then
stops.
and then the music stops and he looks over and the girl's like putting the lipstick on and he's and then it picks back up.
He gets so decked out and metalled out. And he goes to try to crash the wedding. And he goes up to the security guard and he looks at this dude and he goes, "You dare to stand in the way of a man who strives with gods." And he taps him in the dick with his nightstick.
Just like ever so daintily, just like a quick little sack tap, just a little, dink, and he just collapses. But I think what got me in that scene because it's like, there are some funny parts in this movie. I think that was one of the funniest parts because like just the noise he makes when he falls over. He goes,
Yeah. There was some really funny like reactions to things happening to people. Like the sounds that they made throughout this movie was pretty good.
Yeah.
I definitely have to say.
So the wedding, Kevin's playing the wedding. That whole thing happens. Clay invites Kevin.
He kills it. You can't
Yeah,
say like
yeah.
dude, just playing like double bass over like top 40 pop shit. Like I'm all about that. Like that is
Yeah.
my MO right there. Like
Yeah.
I have so many like potential metal songs that are just like covers. Like I have like you guys have kids. You guys know Encanto?
Yes.
We don't talk about Bruno. Yeah, I have a metal version of Bruno somewhere floating in the abyss.
You gotta definitely let me hear that. Cause
Oh yeah, when that's done, dude, I'll send that right over to you. But like that whole thing that Kevin was doing in that movie, when Kevin was doing that whole part in the movie where he's just like playing that just like ridiculous metal groove over just the top 40 stuff, I was like, yes, my dude, yes.
For his interaction with the security guard, Hunter got brought to the police station for some stupid fucking reason instead of just being dragged home to his parents directly. And his dad comes and takes him from the police station. He's like, "This is the last straw." Actually, this is the last straw. And he throws the bill for the drum set in dude's face. And he's like, "You're going away. This is it. You're going for..." And it's like this brochure for like a kid's place that the kids are bad and they got problems or whatever. It's like a ward, I guess.
a wellness center, safe passage.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a sign over the sign that says shock therapy and lobotomy.
Like it falls off in the wind. Like, oh, pay no attention to that. We're just gonna.
Yeah.
So we got back to Kevin and he's shit faced and he goes to the hot tub with the hot blonde that we forgot to mention earlier and then mentioned after the fact. He's macking it to this chick again.
Yeah, but before that, did
did
you
I
guys
miss?
not think it was kind of weird that it was like a whole bunch of naked people running around?
No. From where they were
Oh,
coming
they just
from,
got.
It
they
was
were
a
jumping.
wedding. Like what? I've been to quite a few weddings, and I've never.
Oh yeah, you're right. That
experienced
is a wedding. That is mad weird.
Yeah, I guess it was. The
I was just
post-wedding.
thinking, I was like, oh, there's some naked chicks and like some butts and stuff, and it's like, oh, there's a pool, a hot tub. Clearly, there's been some skinny dipping going on. But yeah, at a wedding, like if anyone's skinny
Right?
like I got married on the beach, so it's like if anyone was skinny dipping in my wedding, like
Oh.
that person's chest would stop going up and down because they would be dead.
Sorry, mate. You shouldn't have done that. No, I think it was an after party that wasn't like necessarily attached to it. I think it was
Oh,
like
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
the band and stuff.
Everyone's been having a few adult drinks.
Clearly,
No,
Kevin's got a lot of.
it's at the house. Like the whole like wedding party was at the same like venue, right? Like
Well,
it did,
it
right? So, but yes, no,
it
it's
was
like
his sister,
the
so
night is
maybe
winding down, and
yeah.
the little brother is in the pool with some random chick or the hot tub, butt ass naked.
So they all just run off. All the nudie girls and stuff. They all run off, and they leave the blonde chick in the jacuzzi for some reason. She just stays there. She's thinking maybe I'm gonna get some D from this clearly drunk short drummer. So he hops in the tub, and in perhaps one of the greatest scenes of all time, the moral conscience of Kevin personifies in the forms of who the fuck was it? It was Scott Ian from Anthrax,
Oh,
fucking
Tom Morello
Tom
from Rage
Morello
Against the
from Rage
Machine,
Against the Machine,
Kirk Hammett
Kirk
from
Hammett from
Metallica.
Metallica, and fucking Rob Halford from Judas Priest. And they were his angels and devils. There is no better group of four to represent two that I could ever think of in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love so obviously Kevin's like very conflicted about making out with the hot blonde chick
clearly,
because he really likes Emily, and he looks up and he sees all the rock gods and everything, and I think one of the funniest and it's like you have to kind of know like the history of Metallica to kind of get this reference, but it was like Kirk Hammett was like, look, he's a drummer, he should get whatever the hell he wants to do, and that's a line from correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's Some Kind of Monster. It's like their documentary on how they recorded Saint Anger, which is like the worst Metallica album.
still had good songs on it.
And it's like Lars the entire time is just like, I'm the drummer, I should get what I want.
Okay,
Nice little hidden jab there, little Easter egg there.
oh, that's cool.
Did not know that. Through the final and kind words of Rob Halford, the god himself, Kevin decides to be good, and he says, "Sorry, I've got a girlfriend." He leaves, and he's good. Never mentions it, which I find that questionable, but maybe also probably smart for him because she may kill him.
I mean, he didn't do anything.
Didn't
She
they
was
kiss and then she transitioned to his neck?
she was kissing on his neck, I think. Like that's it. No, no, like that. I'm pretty sure that's all that really happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Like
maybe
she
I
was just shithouse, like kissing on his neck, and he's just kind of looking up at Rob Halford.
Oh no,
he's
no,
got to
no,
walk out of the.
they did. No, they did kiss.
That's
They
what I
did
thought.
kiss.
Oh, that's right, they did. Yeah, when they
They
first got in
did.
the hot tub.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the second was on the neck. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and she stayed there for a hot minute. So he had to walk away all crunched down, like fuck, man, fuck. He had to go home, and there was no way he was walking. Careful with them bushes, bruh.
You grab two like twigs and just kind of hold it in front.
Fucking Adam and Eve style. So next we get Kevin and Emily. They go to Guitar Center, where Kevin sees these kids that remind him, I think, of him and Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to call them, and has already been sent to the wellness center, where he no longer can be heard from. So then we get Hunter meeting the doctor, the head doctor at the wellness center, who happens to be Dr. Troy Nix, played by Joe Manganiello, and he was
Deathstroke himself.
Deathstroke himself, and he was the former lead singer of Kiloton, the band that won the Battle of the Bands in 1996. Joe. Troy confirms that the band broke up because of alcohol problems, but he also said that you need to learn how to deal with people. And I think that triggered the switch in Hunter's head to make him be a little bit more open-minded. So he thinks that they're getting along. So Troy's like, I can let you out Monday because you don't need to be here. Metal's not a good reason to be in a wellness center. I'm so sick of this shit, and he's like, can you let me out today? I got the Battle of the Bands. And he's like, that's great. No. Sorry, they're already gone. There's nothing I can do.
What do you say? He was like, see you later, bitch, and just like kind of like slaps the shit out of his arm. Yeah, see you around, bitch. It's like, you're a counselor, sir.
He's a doctor.
Right?
He's not just a counselor. He's a doctor.
In a
You went to
rehab
medical
facility.
school. Yeah, in a rehab. You were a doctor in a rehab. See you around, bitch.
To be fair, he looked the part of Walter White, so I mean,
Dude,
Just a
Joe
big ass neck
Manganiello,
tattoo.
hilarious.
He's
With no
great.
hair, hilarious.
He's great. With the mohawk, a white mohawk, great. Kevin calls the house looking for Hunter, and he tells him where he's at. He wants to go break him out. He tries to get Emily to help, but Emily can't let it go. That that whole thing that happened with her kicking his ass. Even though she won, she can't let it go. So he decides to go to the place, and he sneaks in by way of tricking the woman to get more flyers. He goes back super easily in a very completely non-restricted place that seems way too accessible. Walks right into Hunter fucking with the other people by turning the TV off at climactic moments and just fucking. It's so funny what he's doing. He's such a prick. And so Kevin just walks into this place. No one bats an eye. He walks out with them. And the only reason he gets anywhere beyond the desk is because of a fire alarm. Cliche as shit. Grabs the drummer from the other band, too, who's got the deepest voice since Louis Armstrong. Walks out of the place, and just as they're walking out, the secretary's like, "Hey, I know that kid." And it takes her another 10 seconds to even start making pursuit. They're gone, and she's like, "I'm going to go the wrong way." And they get away.
I think like the funniest part of that is like she sees Kevin like with everybody because he pulled the fire alarm, so everyone's just like making their way outside of the building.
Eyes, and they're like,
and he like everyone else is like kind of just dressed normally and like or in like that like beige like rehab clothes. And here's this tiny little kid, super pasty, long hair with like black knee-high Doc Martens and like the chain belt, just like kind of just like, yep, nothing to see here.
You're right.
You guys are stupid. They're gonna be looking for army guys.
So they get away, and when they get to Kevin's car, the fucking doctor's there. Like, he knew they were all together. He knew that was his car. All of these impossible circumstances that provided him the information he needed to get to where he needed to be, to tell him, "Your pick sucks. Here's a better pick. Get out of here." Like, that whole just okay. So they get away. And apparently in, like 2 days or a day or 12 hours or however the fuck long it's been since Hunter's been put in there, he's evolved into the mature adult version of himself and is the apologetic and nice and trying to be friendly and understanding and overwhelmingly apologetic. But Kevin's like, "You don't need to apologize to me, you need to apologize to Emily." And they go to Emily, and he tells her, "You really fucked me up. You cracked my skull. There's nothing really more metal than that. Will you please, please, please join us?" And she looks like she's gonna say yes, and then she says she's not ready. So that's a bummer. So they go to the battle.
Yeah, she was dressed like a nerd.
Who
She
cares?
she can't rock out in what the hell?
Yeah. The outfit is half of the battle, and they're going to the battle. So I guess that makes sense.
Exactly. You gotta get your uniform on.
You're right. So we get to the battle, and Clay is, again, nice as always. For some reason, he's like the nicest human being on the planet to everybody that comes across him.
I have to say, I really hate that guy.
Don's like, he's such a nice guy. Like, he's just so kind. Zach, I fucking hate that guy.
He's too nice. He's too nice.
It's like you're putting on a front there, sir. It's like,
Right?
No one's that
How can you
nice.
even be saying that? You're Canadian. You're supposed to be one of the nice people.
Hey, us Canadians are cynical as fuck. You think I'm bad? Where do you see the rest of the country?
So it's a misnomer that you guys are the friendliest country ever.
Yeah, we're just friendly to the foreigners, and then once you guys leave, it's hey, fuck you, dickhead. Right?
Why don't you go
Just
back to your
19
home?
hours of just 19 hours of hockey chirps.
Basically.
Clay is being nice, and Hunter says sorry to him too, and says, you guys are good in your own way. So the battle begins.
He was basically like, you guys still suck, but I guess you're good for what you do.
You guys are good.
He's like, I hate you, but you're not terrible.
Yeah.
I love he's just like, oh, so you guys gonna play as a 2-piece? Yeah, like the White Stripes. And he's about to say something, and he just goes, yeah, like the White Stripes. Just accepts it. He's like, yeah, whatever. This guy's not gonna get it.
And they brought back Super Deep Throat drummer extraordinaire to come back and play with them, so they didn't have no drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And the bully Skip shows up. He's like, "Suspension's over, bitch. I got a Jack Daniels in the truck. Let's go." You know, like some kind of big
It's
tough
so
guy.
dumb. Just like such like a big Chad energy. Just like, yo, what's up, bro? You want to get drunk?
Chad.
We're high schoolers.
Super
See,
Chad
that
energy.
guy like does not look like he's an athlete in the slightest. When you look at that dude, like he's wearing the Letterman jacket, like he's on the football team. Like that guy's not on the football team,
My dad paid off the coach.
right?
So Skip shows up and leaves, and then Emily shows up. And I'll reiterate this because I'm not ashamed of it. She looked hot as fuck. And yes, she was playing a teenager. Audience, she's 23 in real life. Y'all can kiss my ass. She was of age making this movie the whole time. I have no quarrels with my feelings. She looked metal as shit. She rocked the part. She walks in. Now I'm ready. And they're like, they're ready to go out and skullfucker. And then the lady that got them all into it was like, yeah, no, skullfucker can't happen. You guys can't go out there and skullfucker. And Emily's like, I have an idea, runs off like Wile E. Coyote, meets up with the janitor like an ironic nerd, and says, hey, can I get the art studio stuff? And then changes the band name to Skullflower.
I would have just like changed the O, like the U to an O. It's called Skullfuckers.
Skullfuckers.
Yeah.
You should put like the Uber above it and like put a bunch of fancy pronunciations to get it more like black metal, like Skullfucker.
Skullfucker. Yeah.
It's Finnish for pleasant. It's like something stupid. Oh, it's exotic.
Oh, it's so nice. They fucking crushed. That song was crazy good. I really enjoyed it, and they put on a show.
I have to say, I was definitely surprised that Hunter was even singing.
Yeah, because you never
Right?
see it
Like, he
happen.
didn't
You never
at
see it happen.
all the whole time, right? So I was surprised. I thought there was gonna be no words. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Oh, his voice was fucking killer.
yeah.
Dude,
he
that
was
whole song was so I appreciated what it was, and it was like it was really well done. Whoever recorded it, and then like I said earlier, like the fact that like these kids are actually playing the notes to like what it looks like and everything, but not one time did you see these motherfuckers practice. Not
Nope,
one
not
time.
Not
That's
once.
true.
Not as
Now-
not as a three-piece. Not as a three-piece.
Now I have met musicians. I used to book bands for a brewery I used to work at, and like a lot of these jam bands, they won't practice. They're just that good at their instruments. Like there are people who are like that, but these kids are supposed to be 15. You show me a fucking 15-year-old that is just like, yep, I'm just gonna show up and play music and it'd be really, really good. I will give you $100, Canadian or American, right now. I was like, wow, the song rules. I'm like, when did you guys fucking practice that though?
Right?
She just came out and she just like all of a sudden had the electric cello and was just like, I'm gonna rip this thing in fucking half.
Right?
she
And
did.
yeah,
It
just
was
even
honestly
like
dope.
the showmanship and everything. She's like slapping it with the stick. Like I
She like threw
damn.
this. She like threw the bow out and like had a spare one ready to go, like how a guitar player throws like picks or like the drummer throws sticks.
He actually did throw a stick
Yeah.
too, right?
And he
So like
pulls out the
yeah,
extra one. Yeah.
they
I'll
both
say
did it
this,
kind
she
of at the same
probably-
time.
She probably caught that from watching all those videos, though. Totally got that.
That's
stage
true. Yeah.
presence from watching
Yeah.
all those videos.
The
For sure.
clothes, the stage presence, everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
probably.
Not that cello
100%.
though. That cello was the fucking balls.
That was
Yeah,
really cool. I really
where
appreciated
did she
that.
get that?
Amazon.
You know, you're probably right, but there are a bunch of companies that make electric, like classical instruments, like electric
Yeah.
violins, electric cellos.
Yeah.
Like it's probably
Got
just like
it.
a
No,
customer.
I don't mean it like that. I just mean like when did she get that?
Oh yeah, it's like
You know what I
you're like
mean?
the band nerd. You're like the
The
band
answer
nerd
is
playing like the upright cello, and then all of a sudden it's just like, "What's up, bitches? I like metal now," and it's like, like I'm like, what the
Right?
Amazon.
Yeah.
The only place you can get 24-hour shipping is Amazon Prime. Not sponsored.
What do you mean, bro? That was like 2-hour shipping.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe they just had it in stock.
Maybe that's what she had to do when she's like, I'm not ready yet, and she
I
went
need the
out
electric cello. Yep.
and she went and bought it, and
And
then
then got
changed it out.
dressed, and then like probably like because you saw her sight read earlier, so she's really proficient at her instrument. She probably plugged it in, and be like, "Yep, this works. Let's go."
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't even like
Jumped in
try
the
it out
flower-
or anything.
Yeah, jumped in the flower van and headed over to the battle.
Skullflower.
That's where she got the idea from.
I didn't even think of that. I just put that together.
John, you're onto something here, bud.
So, while they're playing, Hunter has his guitar solo. He's doing this floating into the sky, so happy with himself that he's doing his guitar solo, and then Skip pushes into the to the monitor as a result of a mosh pit, I would assume. Hits the
Well,
stack right.
he came in drunkenly, and
Yeah,
then he pushed some kid, and that just started a mosh pit right there. Yeah.
yeah. And then the mosh pit pushed him into the monitor, which pushed Hunter into his stack, and the stack fell right on his fucking leg in the most metal scene of the whole movie.
That was pretty fucking metal, actually.
Right? No, the scream. Once again, somebody got hurt, and the scream that he made, hilarious.
Yes. They move the monitor and his bones sticking out. It's fantastic. Don't
look at your leg.
passes out. So despite the great show, they didn't get first place, but they got second place. They're all down in Hunter's basement. Hunter's dad seems to have also turned over a new leaf, hands them the newspaper, I assume the local newspaper. There on the front page of the headline is them, even though I think he broke his leg, and it's this face of him screaming as his leg's broken.
Yeah, it's literally just like the shock value face of him like realizing his leg is snapped in half. Just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. So, despite the fact that they didn't get first place, they got headline page, and it was fantastic because no news is no press is bad press, as his dad said. And then he goes up, he's like, "I'm going on a date with a pediatrician."
Big tits.
Big
natural.
big tits.
Natural.
And then they start to play War Pigs together in their little acoustic setup, and it is probably one of my favorite renditions of War Pigs to date.
Mhm.
And that was Metal Lords, my friends.
It's a very, very good movie. It's very, very happy.
Well,
watching it.
that brings us to the question. We'll ask the guest first, Steve.
Yes,
You
sir.
clearly just answered it, but did you like it?
I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously there were some things that I didn't like about it. Wasn't per se like the movie, but more of like how they did things.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a really good movie. I liked it. It really cool references to a lot of bands that I still listen to. They did it right. Like now I can just show people a movie instead of telling them my high school experience. I can be like, no, just go on Netflix and just watch this.
It's
fine.
about
It's like
me.
pretty much the
This
same
movie
thing.
was about me. Yeah.
I'm like the nerdy drummer kid. Like it's cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. What about you, Zach? What did you think?
I enjoyed it. I have to say, Kevin definitely slapped me in the face with his double bass dick. Definitely.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I was like, yeah, yeah, I did.
Right? Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. I didn't finish it actually until on my way to work this morning. Yeah, no, like so I got to see the nice like end like whole scene and his leg break and all that freshly this morning, and I was like, this is awesome. So yeah, I liked it.
Good way to go to work.
Yeah. What about you, John?
Man, I gotta say, it was a
Do I really even
fantastic
have to
movie.
ask?
It was a fantastic movie. We've been gushing this whole time, and we've all been. This is easily our longest recording, and for the best reason yet.
It's because it's a good movie.
It's a good movie. It might be our favorite covered movie because we had a good time. We all enjoyed it, and man, was it such a great fucking soundtrack. I can't.
Yeah, whoever wrote that song, what's the name of the song? Machine of Torment.
Machinery of Torment.
Machinery of Torment. Whoever wrote that, like, was it like Tom Morello and that other dude?
I think it was probably Ramin Djawadi and Tom Morello.
Ramin Djawadi, yeah, dude, like well fucking done. That song rules.
Yes, that was fantastic. Spotify playlist, here it comes.
I was just gonna say that. I think I'm gonna probably pop that on my Spotify playlist right now.
Yeah. Well, with all of that, it is time for the good,
The bad,
and the meh.
my movie. I think I'm gonna suggest Steve go first. Steve, what was good about the movie for you?
So if I were to narrow it down to one thing, from my perspective, I think I've mentioned this a couple times during the podcast, is the fact that they used real musicians. That was just like an attention to detail as a musician seeing that. Like, it's like, oh, thank God. Like you finally fucking figured it out. Like you didn't just have Joe Schmo up there pretending to like play guitar and just kind of like the guitar's not even playing, but his hands are still like doing this. It's like, dude, come on. But
Yeah.
no, that was one of the things is the attention. I think if you want to like kind of broaden it out, I would say just the attention to detail that they took to this movie, like the referencing of the old, the classic metal, the songs that they used, like just the attention to detail was spot on. Probably
Everything felt like it belonged.
as not only just a musician but a fan of metal, like they fucking nailed it. Like they killed that shit. They didn't like make up a bunch of shit. Like they used like obviously they had the Netflix money to do that, but they used like the real references. So like people who are into that music who might not even play music are just like, oh shit, like they're hitting this. They're hitting every point in this movie.
Yeah. Skill.
Skill, yeah. The attention to detail was spot on. That's my good.
Alrighty. Zach, what about you? What was your good?
That's a hard one. Like, I really enjoyed this movie, and it's kind of hard for me because I'm not as technical with all of that. So I don't know if I could really bring it down to just kind of one thing, but like, just the movie in whole, like the movie all around was just, I find, just really good. So I have to say my good is like the entire movie, which kind of says a lot for my meh, bad, and bad.
Well, can I just point out the fact that your entire bad on the bubble was the movie?
That's fair. That is fair.
So this
And it
isn't out
was.
of this isn't something that wouldn't be expected from you, but it kind of is shocking that it's on the good side.
But if I was to pick one thing, I would have to say just like the end jam, fire, just straight fire.
It was
Yeah.
fucking incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So what about you, John? What is your good?
Again, same as you guys, it was tough to narrow down, but at the end of it, it was an ultimately easy pick. The music for this movie, not one track I didn't recognize, not one bit of the music that was played didn't sound fantastic. Kudos to Ron.
Except at the beginning.
Oh well, I'm sorry. The marching band shit that
No,
doesn't count.
before the
Oh
marching
yeah,
band.
when he was just
Who's that?
when he was essentially Animal from the Muppets.
Basically.
Plays in his bedroom and it's like, shut the fuck up.
The
But
little kid.
so ultimately the music was definitely what took the cake for me in terms of the good. So since I finished off the goods, I guess I'll take my meh first, and I'll say the little brother had no business being in this movie whatsoever, other than to be someone that talked like 3 times. Kick him, do something. He didn't. Meh, 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 and that's my meh.
Okay.
What about you, Steve? What was your meh?
That's a good question. I would say the fact that like this movie kind of not the storyline went out of kind of all over the place. It was just like the theme of the movie kind of went all over the place. Like, is this a comedy? Oh, is this like a romantic love affair thing? Is this like a coming of age movie? Like, is this just like a metal, like, is this like a music kind of like bibliography? Like, there was kind of just all over the place because there was some funny parts. There was some like very serious parts. That was my meh. It was just
Genre bender at 15.
it could have just been a little bit more streamlined with that, like kind of went with more of one of an idea and went with it. But obviously, we like the movie, that. But if I could pick one meh, like you could have done that better, is like if you streamlined, the jokes a little better, or if like you put the
omit some unnecessaries.
Yeah.
Kind of pull out the unnecessary shit.
Like the little
But
brother.
that was my like the little brother. I guess you could rope him into that meh as well. Yeah, he was kind of fucking annoying.
Full circle.
It always comes back to that little bastard. It's all his fault.
You said fuck.
He was just there for comic. That's what I mean. He was there for comic relief, and it's like, all right, well, is this a comedy? Like, if you're putting comic relief in here, is it not a comedy? Like, you just sack tap this kid later in the movie. Like, that's
Right?
funny. The noises this kid makes when he gets hurt are funny. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I get
They
you.
could have that
Zach,
kind of
what's-
like Napoleon. Oh, yeah.
Go
Zach,
ahead.
I was gonna say it has that kind of like awkward, like Napoleon Dynamite kind of feel sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just like where everyone's just kind of standing around, just like it's like, oh, it's. I guess it's supposed to be like an awkward teenage movie, but like I don't know, they could have just been streamlined a little better.
That's fair.
I can agree with that. Zach, what about you? What's your meh?
My meh is kind of like the bullying. Like I don't like that. I don't understand what that like why that was in the movie. Like it was so unnecessary. They could have done all of the same shit without, you know what I mean, without the random bullying and stuff. And I mean, I get to some degree it's like, oh, look at these are the weird kids, right? And then you get the popular kids. Popular kids are obviously going to pick on the weird kids, but I just found like all the scenes with all the bullying was just super unnecessary, right? Like shitting on his car, cutting his hair. Meh.
Though funny,
spray
but
painting cunt
unnecessary.
on the windshield.
Right? Yeah. So all that like bullying kind of stuff was meh for me.
Fair enough. Well,
Yep.
since you ended that way, what about your bad?
My bad would probably have to be the lack of Joe Manganiello in this movie. Yeah. They definitely could have they could have even done a scene like I know he probably doesn't play instruments, but they could have done one of those fake out scenes where he comes out with the band, you know what I mean, and rips with them at the end of the movie, right? So
Kiloton's playing, and it's just
you know what I mean, right? So yeah, if I have to choose anything, it'd probably be the lack of Joe Manganiello in the movie.
Netflix, if you are listening, Metal Lords 2, Kiloton Rising. That's what it needs to be.
So, with that out of the way, I
Got
guess
two
we're
more
on
people
to.
still. Hold on, we got two more bads. We only did
Oh
yours.
shit! I was the beginning. That's my bad.
Yeah.
Okay,
We got
my
two
bad.
more bads. Two more bads, bro.
I'm just used to being at the end all the time.
Well, there's only one. There's usually only me and you. Now we got a buddy. And speaking
Yeah.
of that buddy, what was your bad if you had one?
My bad would probably be how the end of the movie just got a little bit more ridiculous. Like it was just like, all right, I'm gonna break my friend out of rehab. Literally easiest thing to do, breaking someone out of rehab. No, it's not.
Right?
And then when they, it's,
Destiny 2.
and that's like the whole. That's yeah, exactly. That's like the whole thing where it's like, the CNA is trying to chase them out through the parking lot. She's like, "Oh, I got lost." Like, bitch, you work here. How'd you get
Right?
lost? Like these kids just got here and they know how to escape better than you do. And then like they get to the car and there's the doctor and it's the kid and it's like, no, all your problems are because you're using the wrong fucking pick. And then the whole like the end of the movie, like it was like Diet Tarantino.
Okay.
You know, at the end of a Tarantino movie, it just gets fucking apeshit wild. Like, just no rules, just becomes like chaos. Like it's like you can kind of tell they were going with that. Like when Emily comes back out in the whole goth outfit, and like Hunter is like ascending the crowd playing his guitar solo, and just how like dramatic his amp falls over and breaks his leg, and they're like, "No, don't move it." Oh, look, there's the leg. With this gruesome ass fucking like bone sticking through and everything. It just was like
out of the cut.
yeah, it was metal, man. Yeah, it was just one of those. And then like it just that's what it seemed. It seemed very like Tarantino light.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You know,
all
it's
right,
like
all right.
it's like, oh, we're gonna take. It's like I didn't mind it, but it kind of ties back into my meh, where it's like you could have streamlined that a little easier. It
That's
almost
fair.
felt like they were wrapping up filming. They were just like, "Yep, nope, we gotta go. Like we were supposed to be out of here 3 days ago. We can only rent the rest of these props for like the rest of today. Like we gotta film the rest of this movie now."
I like it.
What about you, John?
Those are bad, dude.
Didn't have one. I can't.
Ah.
I truthfully didn't have a complaint about the movie. I didn't have any issues with the pacing. I thought it was moving along nicely. I didn't feel like there was. I mean, there was scenes that could have been omitted, but they didn't take away from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I kind of dug the bully's truck hitting the walls because they're stupid. You know what I mean? Like the shit that they made up for them being there by them getting bamboozled again.
Curses foiled again.
I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Yeah, I did kind of like how they made the bullies like very like Scooby Doo esque, just like we're gonna get you kids, drats and inconvenience.
Yeah. So yeah, nothing.
All right. Well, that's fair. It was a good movie. I mean, you've heard. I've said I have not had
Shocked
bads
to hear
before.
it. I'm shocked to hear you say that it's a
Right.
good movie still. So.
But yeah. So I guess that brings us to John's highlight. So what was your highlight scene, John?
I think you already know what I'm gonna say, but I'll tell you anyway. The entire battle scene for Skullflower was great. From the moment Emily hit that cello string, it was just the song was fantastic. The way they played together, despite having zero rehearsal time together, was great. It didn't have to make sense. The music was fantastic. The way the crowd got into it slowly but surely, the mosh pit. I felt like I was at the Palladium here in Worcester. You know, you don't know anything about the Palladium, but the Palladium is a place where local crowds like that get moshed up just like that, and it
Real
felt
quick too, just like in the movie.
yeah.
I've been to plenty of Palladium shows where it's like you're casually Zach, like think of it like you're just casually watching a band, and then all of a sudden you're getting thrown 15 feet to your right.
Yes. with a group of people next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I loved that scene. I thought the music was great. The scene was great. It was very nostalgic for me. So yeah. So what about you, Zach? What was your letdown?
Again, there's a little bit of a stretch, but my letdown scene would probably have to be that the whole scene where Hunter gets out and he flicks the bully in the face in that whole chase scene. Like, I don't know. I just thought that like him just going up and flicking him in the like was so stupid. Like why didn't you punch him? Like, you know what I mean? Like do something like cool. Like you should have smashed the front of his truck with a like with the you know the thing from the car that changed the tires. You know what I mean? The tire iron.
Tire iron, yeah.
Yeah, you know what right? Like so I don't know. I just thought that was really like dumb, but like but it ended up funny, but like the beginning of that scene is probably like really like my like most disliked
You could
part.
have done it better. You could have done it better.
Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
I gotcha.
Especially like yeah, so yeah, that's probably my letdown scene.
I gotcha. All right, Steve. You can either have a letdown, a highlight, or both. You tell us and lay it on us, brother.
It would like so my letdown would have to be the breakout from the rehab facility scene.
Yeah,
Like it was just so just like
pretty lame too. Yeah,
it was just lame. Like it wasn't really funny. It was kind of just like, oh, we need to move this plot along a little bit. Let's just toss this in here and see what happens. But my highlight scene for sure is when homie's in the hot tub and he gets like the hallucination of all the rock gods.
Okay.
And they just give him as like the advice. And that little quip it from Kirk Hammett was just like the icing on the cake. I'm like, all right, this movie fucking rules now.
I knew that was gonna be your scene for sure.
But yeah, the highlight is definitely the rock god scene.
And I'm just gonna randomly throw this out there for this one episode. My highlight scene was actually the montage of him just slowly getting better and better and better at the drums. I thought that was pretty fucking dope because he goes from like like let's say like level 2, then boom, he's all the way at level 50, ready to rock like that.
He's at level 50, like second prestige, like he's ready to go.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I'm just gonna throw a highlight in there because I really did enjoy this movie.
Hey, by all means, when you can throw in extra stuff, throw in extra stuff. Speaking of throwing in stuff, Zach, what are we doing next week? Or should we tell them about the thing that we're gonna do?
No, we won't. We won't tell them about what we're gonna do. because we
It'll be a
don't know if
surprise.
we don't know if we're doing it or not, right?
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
So next week we were supposed to have another guest on, and we were supposed to be doing
The package.
the package. Yes, I keep forgetting the name because the picture for it is like an eggplant emoji. Um, but I've decided that we're gonna do Project Power next week.
Dope.
Yeah, with
Dope.
Jamie Foxx.
And
2019, I believe.
that's Jamie Foxx and Joseph
Joseph
Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to watch that movie again because I enjoyed it the first time I watched it. But the problem with that is when I watch it for a second time, it kind of falls flat.
Steve, you're here and you have stuff to talk about. We want you to promote you. You got a band, you've got Instagram, Twitter, socials in general.
So I play in a band called Hirosha. It is me and my guitar player's name is Costas Travisano. We play some. It's like a mix of like heavy and like melodic. It's called progressive metalcore. It's a weird genre, but it's fun. And we realized, we're getting a lot better just playing by ourselves, like on an internet band, rather than finding like a drummer or bass player. We are still kind of casually looking for like live acts and stuff like that, but for right now we just play online. You can find us at Instagram at Hirosha_CT. You can find me on my Instagram at Steve Hirosha, SteveHorosha. I do some stand-up bits and a lot of guitar playing, and some goofy pictures of my cats. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you can follow me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Stephen Webb. It's spelled with StephenWebb. And I also do theme musics. So as you heard in the beginning of the episode, that was me. I wrote that song for the podcast here. I do entrance musics. I can ghostwrite. I can do beats. I can pretty much any musical need that you require immediately. I can help anybody out with that. So if you want to follow me on my socials, feel free to just drop me a line, and we'll love to work with you. For anyone listening.
Excellent.
Dope.
So he's promoted himself. Let's promote ourselves. You can find us on Instagram at MNWTB Podcast, on Twitter at MNWT Boys, and on TikTok at MNWTB Pod. Where else can we be found, Zach?
You can find us on Facebook at MNWT Boys Pod, and check out our YouTube page, Movie Night with the Boys! ! And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, all that good jazz. Leave us some comments, reviews, all that stuff.
And by the way, we are now on Apple Podcasts. Finally.
Woo!
So you can get us on Spotify, you can get us on Stitcher, you can get us on Amazon, you can get us on Google, you can get us on Apple. Get us. Review, like, subscribe, rate, follow, share, tell your friends and tell your family. Someone's going to like something we do. Plain and simple. We've covered pretty much every genre to this point, and if we haven't, we will.
Yep.
Hell yeah, dude.
Anyways, my men, we have been here for a long episode. Hopefully we haven't scared anyone away with this one, because it has been a little bit longer than our last few. But I had a blast. I think you guys had a blast.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Thank you guys for having me again. I appreciate it. This was awesome.
You better come back for more.
Oh hell yeah! I'll be. I was telling Zach when you stepped away. I literally just had my whole desk set up for recording, but it also is like a podcast desk now. So like I can like do this from just my living room. I don't have to like sneak off or do anything kind of crazy. So I have it all set up.
Oh well, we'll keep that in mind.
Hell yeah, dude! I would love to come back.
Excellent. Sure. Well, gentlemen, it's been real. Deuces.
It's 2 hours, hour and 50 minutes of prep, 10 minutes of regret.
Thank you all so much for listening to Movie Night with the Boys.